Hey, introduce my name is Maud Faris and I'm from the Day-3 Business Administration Department Study Program Business Administrations. Today I want to complete my late task is that task 4 about the judge test answer and the discussions. First I'm gonna talk about short answers. Number 1 is in a debate about emotions. For example, this house will allow abortions. Ozzy will only allow abortions when the mother's life is at risk. Shigi then argued that they would allow abortions in general, with far lesser restrictions or conditions than OG. How will you value the Shigi is in this debate? So the answer is Shigi definitely cannot be higher than OG because their widening of stance clearly is a contradiction to the agreed upon setup, which we perceive OO accepted, otherwise they will have challenged the definitions or limitations. Shigi can only widen if OO has called out a soft stance and reject the definitions. Therefore, Shigi choose to follow OO. Secondly is whatever extensions they may have probably will not be persuasive, given that their case studies or context will apply in scenarios other than when the mother's life is at risk. Which list OG was a horrible case of substance. It wasn't a squirrel, so there is a need for Shigi not to knife OG and still be consistent. Shigi is justified to call out and complain OG for making a substance do. So, for the debate assessments, here are the rankings and scores the adjudication corps provided. So, we gave the first ranking to the opening governments, the second rank to the closing oppositions, the third rank to the opening oppositions, and the fourth to the closing oppositions. In general, we felt that it was a clear-cut debate between the top two and the bottom two. So we felt that the contestation for the top two place were clearly between opening government and closing oppositions. And the contention for the bottom two is between opening oppositions and closing governments. So we've seen just with a variations of these results, some judges gave closing opposition first, other opening government, and some judges gave closing government third in comparison to opening oppositions. We felt that those calls were fair because we felt that it was relatively quiet, close between the diagonal and also the short diagonal. However, we felt that the decisions that deviated from that, for example, giving closing government first or giving opening government fourth, we felt that those decisions are quite questionable because we felt that the debate was a bit clear-cut and relatively easy to assessments. The scorings are as such, we're going to have detailed breakdowns of what the scores represents and what were the practical contributions that let them being scored as such. Alright, now before we move on to the assessment ranking and scores, we're gonna discuss a bit about noticeable patterns in the oral adjudications and also your judgments called that we felt important to correct other 5 things, so please bear with us. So, the number 2 is stepping into the debate. Many always indicate that judges are completing arguments on behalf of the debaters. Do not do this. Take into account only what was explained by the speakers. Just because you've heard or doubt of a similar and better versions of the argument does not justify you to fill in the gaps for them. Number 2 is accents or fluency bias. Many judges highly credit opposition member, giving her speaker, while we think it may still be plausible to credit her as such. Most of the explanations we've heard are reliant on her assertive point which were not fully explained. We felt this was largely due to her American accents. Conversely, some judges are very uncharitable in discrediting points made by some speakers who are more Indonesianist in their English accents, particularly PM and LO, only highlighting the title of the points without really digging into the details provided. Assessment of the content should be holistic. Action should not matter to the extent that it does not disrupt the delivery of one content. And we felt nobody in the round had said issue. And the last one is non-comparative. Many judges that we assessed were very parrot-like, only regulating back the contents of the speakers without giving relatable or comparisons, while a certain point or argument or response was triumphant over another. This becomes problematic because judges tend to punish a team for not doing something, but simultaneously not applying the same burden to the other team that rank above them. Important to note, many judges did not even compare OO and CK and presumes OO as automatic fault. There is no such thing. Alright, I think that concludes the lessons of the answer of the judge test. Thank you very much to watch my video, and also don't forget to subscribe my channel YouTube as your support on my text. Thank you.